is Socrates. He's on the move, and they're going to look for Socrates in the corner. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the Props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, makes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's going to wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Okay, moving in. Sends one on goal, he scores!
And it is a power play goal!
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Smith delivers. That's hit back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship.
Live from the Boulevard of the Eagles on the campus of Edison High School in Edison, New Jersey, the PDF Sports Network welcomes you into coverage of Jersey Sharks football. Tonight, the 6-1 Sharks host the 7-0 Brooklyn Pharaohs in a game that will determine which one of three teams will take first place in the League of All Leagues regular season standings. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Foreman, alongside my broadcast partner, John McCooch. And John, this game means plenty for both of these teams. For the Pharaohs, tonight presents an opportunity to clinch the top seed in the playoffs with a win. For the Sharks, they could send the race for the top seed to a tiebreaker. You can't ask for much more from a battle between a 6-1 team and the 7-0 team during the final week of the regular season.
Joe, first off, great to be alongside you here at the Boulevard of the Eagles here in this one for some great Jersey Sharks football. But these are the games that you wait all season long for. Two teams top of the standings, fighting who could finish with the best regular season record. Brooklyn, they've got a ton of pressure on them there. You want to see a 0 next to your loss column every time at the end of the season, and a chance to go undefeated. That doesn't come around very often. So if you're the League of All Leagues, you are getting the matchup you want to see. The second best team, arguably, in your league going against an undefeated squad at the top of the standings. Should be a great one here in Edison.
John, here tonight, obviously, a matchup that could determine the number one seed in the LAL at the conclusion of the regular season. And as I said before the break, before we get a chance to speak with the Sharks ahead of tonight's game, we'll take a closer look at the Brooklyn Pharaohs, the team that the Sharks will be facing tonight. And like Jersey, Brooklyn was a playoff team last season, a season which was their first in the LAL. The move came after we covered the Pharaohs in their 2022 Elite Football Alliance Championship win over the Harlem Gators. 8-1 last season for the Pharaohs, and a chance to make it 8-0 this season here tonight. You really can't perform much better during the regular season than they have.
This is an undefeated squad. They're second in the league in terms of points allowed. Coach Julius has had these guys locked in this season. They started off with a close 7-6 victory against that great Silverbacks team that took down Jersey a couple weeks ago, and they've just dominated ever since that week one. They're led by quarterback Kareem Williams, who's yet to throw an interception this season, also leads the team in rushing on the year, so he is a multi-tool player. He can do just about everything from that position. Like the Sharks, they have a phenomenal defense that does not get as many sacks as Jersey, but they stuff their opponents just the same. Most of their games, they haven't been close, except their recent one, which we'll talk about in a second. But this team can dominate from the snap to the final whistle.
It's hard to believe that these two teams never met last season, so we really don't have any history to look back on ahead of tonight's game. That being said, the Sharks did go on to defeat a Brooklyn Seminoles team in the 2023 LAL Championship that eliminated the Pharaohs from the playoffs before meeting Jersey in that championship game. You have to think the Pharaohs not only want to secure home field in the playoffs tonight, but they'd also love to send a message that they're the team to beat heading into the playoffs this season.
An undefeated season, that's just what you set out to do in the preseason. Early team meetings, first few practices, you talk about it. You look at your schedule and say, how can we beat everybody on our schedule? So far, they've accomplished just that, these Brooklyn Pharaohs, and their final hurdle, arguably the second best team in the league. But, yes, you could send a message, but you just also give yourself so much confidence heading into that postseason that you can beat anybody because, well, you beat them already. So that would be huge heading into the games that really matter in this postseason that's coming up.
Though the Pharaohs are unbeaten this season, they certainly have not been untested. Just last week, they held on to defeat the New York Bears by 4 to remain unbeaten. That matchup is one that we've seen in the past here on PDF over 2 years ago, to be exact. And very similarly, the Pharaohs held on to defeat the Bears in the closing minutes of that matchup. You have to think Brooklyn will be tested once again here tonight. What do they need to do to end the night with a 0 in the loss column?
I mean, that was a much closer game than Brooklyn probably would have hoped for with a team on the back end of the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see if they're motivated to perform better, or if a late season drop-off could be happening. You see that happen with some teams. So you have to play with a bit more of a fire in your belly after a close game like that. I'm sure Coach Joyce is sending the message that a performance like that from a team as good as Brooklyn is unacceptable. And if they played that way against the Sharks, then this undefeated run probably would have been over. So to me, it's important that a team like this gets that late season test. It's a reminder that nobody is unbeatable, that they have to continue to put their best product out on the field each and every night, because when you play a team with a 0 in the loss column, you want to be the team that changes that. So you always give them your best game. And that's what the Sharks are going to do. The Pharaohs should take what they learned from that test, use it as fuel here in this road matchup.
And given the fact that they're 8-0, it shouldn't come as much of a surprise that the Pharaohs defense is also pretty good. As you mentioned, the Sharks have allowed just 37 points this season, but the Pharaohs have allowed just 42. John, do you expect another low-scoring defensive battle like the game you covered in Week 2 against the Bears? Or do you think these two offenses find a way to make this look a bit more like the game I covered 2 weeks ago between the Sharks and Silverbacks?
I think we see a tale of two halves here. The first quarter, both teams really want to beat each other. You see some rugged, hard-hitting football. But as the game wears down, the offensive talent, they will start to show what they can do. The points will begin to come in that second half. But I wouldn't be surprised if this game was either a close slugfest or a shootout that neither team has really had to be in a part of this season. So since the Sharks are in this postseason no matter what, I would expect them to take a bit more risk in this game, even more aggressive play calling on both sides of the ball, and that could lead to this game going either way.
Sharks look to play spoiler in the Pharaohs' bid for an unbeaten season as Brooklyn hopes to lock down the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Plenty on the line tonight when we kick off.
Edison Heating and Cooling, New Jersey's comfort provider since 1987. With over 100 factory-trained service and installation personnel and a fleet of over 100 vehicles, we are able to service our customers faster and more effectively than our competitors. Our team of customer care professionals are always on call for an in-home consultation. If you and your family are in need of an installation or service completed by expert technicians, done professionally and efficiently, you need Edison Heating and Cooling. It's what we do.
Representing a seriously injured person requires a lot of research and preparation, but it also means giving hope to the client.
Lombardi Law is always there for you whenever you need them. You can count on them at all times. Lombardi Law gave me hope when I had none.
When you hire the law firm of Lombardi & Lombardi, you're not just hiring one attorney. You're hiring the education, the knowledge, and the experience of all 10 attorneys in this law firm.
Lombardi & Lombardi, representing seriously injured clients since 1973.
Bean & Blend Cafe offers an array of decadent desserts, Italian specialty items, and a wide variety of breakfast and lunch offerings. From smoothies to seasonal lattes, acai bowls to fresh bagels, our family's promise is to serve the local community with wholesome food and a lot of love. Lose yourself in the tranquil setting while chatting the day away with friends and locals. Visit us at 1529 Route 206 in Tabernacle, New Jersey, or online at beanandblendcafe.com.
And we are back from Edison High School, hoping that our cellular service holds up as the Sharks receive the opening kickoff, and we are underway. Big return on the game's opening kickoff, and the ball is fumbled into the arms of one of the Pharaohs and back onto the turf. It's loose. Brooklyn thinks they have it, and we will see they do. On the return, Justin Sanders broke it across midfield. He was stripped, And initially getting his hands on it was number 25. That was Darren Payton. He couldn't secure it, but one of his teammates did. As we get a second look here on replay, what a start to this game, John.
That's huge, absolutely huge. I mean, you never see the ball get ripped out like that and fly that far, but you just get a perfect strip on that. It caused a huge turnover. So maybe when you talk about your decision, whether you want the ball or not, that doesn't matter anymore. Big turnover on the kickoff.
And we'll get a very quick look at the Sharks' defensive starters following this next play. So once this play concludes, we'll get to meet the Sharks' defensive starters. And obviously, if you're Jersey, John, you weren't hoping to have the introduction of your defensive starters following a receiving of the opening kickoff.
Right. You don't see that very often in the game of football or anything, but if you're the defense, you have to change your mentality. Mentality's back. Okay, they got the kickoff. Whatever. You just change your mentality, get locked back in. Okay, we start out having to guard this ball.
So Brooklyn, led by quarterback Reem Williams, will hand off on their first play from scrimmage, and it's a nice run for a gain of about 8 yards. So with that, let's quickly meet the Sharks defense.
Amir Kofa, Lackawanna College. James Bethia, Elizabeth High School.
Julius Soul, Elizabeth High School.
Shamir Atkinson, East Sussex County Community College.
Eric Polly, Mamalejos, Nassau Community College.
Charles Hogan III, William Patterson University, Carteret, Exit 12, The Pitt.
Kareem Stewart, University of Notre Dame.
Sean Dawson, Aaron P. Thomas Strait High School.
Derek Carden, Benedict College.
Tyson Stamper, Kutztown University.
Damil Bowles, Plainfield High School.
The Pharaohs hurried to the line of scrimmage on second down, and Williams was brought down behind the line of scrimmage trying to scramble to his left. It is now 3rd down and 5. Once again, we do apologize for our video transmission issues. Unfortunately, the internet is not allowing for crisp live video streaming. The game will be uploaded in full later tonight. However, you can still follow via our voices. Joe Foreman on the call alongside John McCooch tonight. We'll do our best to paint a vivid picture of the action out on the field through the issues with our video stream.
Get it back to the radio days. I don't know if you had some radio days, but it's...
They say I have a voice for radio.
There you go.
Thankfully not a face for radio.
We don't need it right now at this point, so just got to make sure we know our down and distance.
Very much so. Moving forward in this game, as I mentioned, it is 3rd down and 5. The Pharaohs come out in a spread shotgun set, 4 receivers wide. Sharks crowding the line of scrimmage here. They have 6 lined up on the line of scrimmage, and they drop back into coverage. Williams scrambling, throws a backwards pass complete, and that is good for a 1st down. On the reception, that was the halfback, Tyheem Black, who was lined up behind Williams in the shotgun.
Good screen out to Williams' left. You get an early completion. This offense starting to get going and clicking. I mean, when you get a big turnover on special teams, it's tough for the offense not to have play with a little bit of extra juice. And you see that for the Brooklyn – well, you don't see it now. But the Brooklyn Pharaohs, they're showing it right now.
From time to time, you're getting some clean video. We're being told right now it's an issue in the township of Edison, as the throw once again looked to be a backwards pass on the screen. And immediately brought down was Garfield McDonald. And on the tackle was number 29, Damil Bowles.
Interesting call from Brooklyn. Just a quick screen out to the right side. When you've been running the ball so well, it's interesting. Maybe you try to go over the top there, though, but looks like they'll huddle as well.
So we've seen Brooklyn early in this game look to run their offense with some tempo. They hurried to the line of scrimmage after the game's first snap, rudely interrupting our defensive starters. But the Sharks made sure to disrupt that play, taking down Williams behind the line. They convert on 3rd and 5 with the swing pass to the back. A short screen goes for a loss of 1 on 1st down. It's now 2nd and 11. Williams in the shotgun once again. He will hand off up the middle. And it's going to be a short gain, if that, on the ground. Perhaps they just got back to the line of scrimmage. And that will bring up 3rd down and 11 following the carry by, I believe, number 9, to Kyrie Mims.
The Sharks, big opportunity. Get a handoff right up the middle. These Sharks just swarm to the football. That's exactly what you want to see. And, I mean, this is a huge drive, that first drive after a turnover. You can't really, if you give up a touchdown, you give Brooklyn so much momentum on a turnover. They take it back for a score. If you get a stop, you can kind of just call it a wash and move on. Let's see if the Sharks get a big stop here.
3rd and 11. 2 receivers wide left with 2 receivers stacked to the right. Williams in the shotgun looking to throw. He fires left and high over the intended target, Mims, who was wide open.
He was wide open, just sailed it above Mims' head. But there was a big opportunity. That would have been a first down and maybe a bit more too, but
sure looked that way. There was one Shark there who maybe could have made a tackle, but a good ball put on target, I think, certainly would have afforded Brooklyn a first down, and that will bring up 4th here, 4th and 11, and it does appear as if the Pharaohs are going to punt. So, John, after a fumble on the opening kick, the Sharks' defense responds very nicely and gets off the field, allowing just 1 first down.
They stand tall. That's exactly what they needed to do, just gave up the 1 first down, and now, again, you can just kind of put that in the memory bank, that turnover, giving up that possession. You can just put it in the memory bank. Hopefully they don't turn it over again on a special teams play, but we'll see.
Low line drive punt that nearly was blocked. It ends up in the Pharaohs bench, and that punt traveled about a yard or 2 past the first down sticks. In fact, it goes out of bounds right at midfield, which is where the line to gain was. So not a good punt, and effectively the Sharks now get the ball right where they would have had it when they fumbled it on the opening kick.
It's effectively a turnover by Brooklyn there. When you give up an interception, you throw one, it's basically going to end up at that part of the field. So now Jersey, I think you look at it like a turnover. You look at that as an opportunity. You get the ball at midfield. This is now your opportunity to go down and take advantage of some mistakes early in this game. We'll see what Chris Criscolo can do early for the Jersey Sharks at quarterback.
I think the one thing that you lose, obviously, with the fumble on the opening kick is the advantage of getting the ball to start the third quarter. That hurts you every time, but the Sharks do not pay for it in terms of points. And now they will come out empty on their first offensive snap as they motion a man into the backfield and will hand off. Up the middle and into the second level goes Stephen Jones Jr., and I think he was tackled about a half a yard short of the first down. And it will be 2nd down and a very short one.
Jersey, while they don't do it as often as you may think, they run the ball very effectively with Jones Jr. He's a hard runner, can get downhill very quickly.
Low snap. Chris Criscolo throws left complete on the out route and stepping out of bounds. And making the reception was Ricky Tate. We love to meet the Jersey starters, John, but they're going hurry up here.
They're introducing themselves in their own way right now. They're going to introduce themselves on the field in this game, but for Chris Criscolo to just go out there and you get a bad snap, you get a botch, but you're able to just recover, deliver a pass, lob it up, and get it done.
Handoff on first down. Jones Jr. up the middle, churning his legs, and he's finally stood up after a short gain of about 2.
Again, you see those legs just churning and churning and churning. A lot of running backs, a play like that, they're just going to fall down for a yard. He's able to turn that into 2.5 maybe, and you just can tell that Jones Jr. is a man amongst boys.
2nd down, 8 to go. Chris Criscolo looking right, throws on the post, complete, broken tackle, and in the second level, making a huge play was Quay Mosby. He took down the receiver at the 2-yard line. Shamar Saru with the catch, and I thought for sure he was in for 6. No huddle, Jersey. Handoff up the middle. And the Pharaohs make the tackle after no gain on the play.
But what a play from these Jersey Sharks. Again, that's one of those plays you see a throw up the middle on a quick slant. However, he got that there in the middle of the field. That's usually a touchdown, but great recovery by Brooklyn to make the tackle. Just a huge play for this Jersey Sharks offense to get things rolling here in the first quarter.
It almost rolled off my tongue, John. Completed pass on the post. I almost said touchdown, but that is a great tackle by Quay Mosby, who is listed on the roster as a wide receiver, getting a look on defense there, and he made the big tackle, assuming I was correct in reading that number. The Pharaohs' numbers on their jerseys, very, very small. As the Sharks throw on the goal line, it's broken up, incomplete on the short slant route, and that will bring up 3rd and goal.
These numbers for the Brooklyn Pharaohs, yeah, definitely tough to see. Jersey, you get the red outline a little bit. You can see it a bit better, but small
They're
numbers,
just
never
small.
good time. Very small.
On the back side, and I think the reason for that is so that they can tuck their jerseys into their pads with their numbers still visible to the officials on the back side of the uniform.
You see that a lot in football now. We don't just let the jersey go all the way down. The tuck in.
A very big emphasis on making a statement with style.
Sometimes, you look good, you play good. Sometimes you got to play.
Can't argue with that. 3rd and goal, Jersey. Spread shotgun set. Jones Jr. in the backfield, flanking Chris Cuola. Man in motion is Tate. And they will hand it off to Jones Jr. He bounces it outside, heading for the pylon. It's a foot race, and he is in for the touchdown. But wait a moment. We have a flag in the area of holding, and that is right where Jones Jr. bounced that run outside left tackle.
There was also just a huge block. I couldn't tell who it was, but near the goal line, just an absolute monster block if we can see it. But, yeah, definitely a penalty on that play.
So perhaps they got the block in the back, John.
Potentially, yeah.
And I think you're right. It looks like they're moving the back 15 yards.
That hurts if you're Jersey.
All right, that is my error. They did not move them back 15. It looks like they moved them back.
Probably 10.
10, yeah. So holding would have been the call.
13-yard line.
Is a block in the back 15 or 10, John?
I believe it's 10 still.
Okay. So very well could have been a block in the back.
Could be wrong, though. You never know.
Spread shotgun set once again, 4 receivers wide. I believe it's Rob Jackson in the backfield now for Jersey as we have a timeout called by the Sharks.
You definitely have to recollect yourselves. You are right at the goal line. You have a chance to score, and tough penalties, tough mistakes. That happened a lot back in week 2 when we covered the Bears. Common mistakes when they had the opportunities around midfield. It would usually happen. They'd get a few good runs off, and then they'd try to drop back and pass, and they'd commit a holding penalty. So it was difficult to see them. I mean, it was tough to see if you're a Sharks fan, if you're watching from a Sharks perspective, to see those mistakes get made as often as it happened.
Sharks get a chance here to talk it over ahead of this 3rd and goal play. And, John, obviously, as you saw in week 1, red zone offense was a bit of an issue for both teams in that game. We did see that the Sharks do have the ability to kick it if they want to. During the pregame, they had a kicker out there taking some warm-up strikes, and those were good from between 30 and 40 yards. They could kick it here if they choose to do so. And if they fail to pick up yards here, I'm not sure there's a better spot to try and kick it with 4th and goal from about the 12-yard line.
We saw them go for it a lot earlier in the season, but who knows? Maybe they figure it out on the kick again at this point.
3rd and goal. Ball at the 12. Once again, a spread shotgun set. Motion man pre-snap is Hemingway. Chris Cuola looks to his right, fires, goal line!
First down for the Pharaohs.
It will be a first down for Brooklyn here as they march the sticks out closer to midfield. We are still contending with poor internet service. Unfortunately, if we are knocked offline completely, we have to then reboot from scratch. Fortunately, we were able to do so quickly as the Brooklyn offense now has the ball across midfield. 1st and 10. Williams in the shotgun. Hands off. Black up the middle. Nice burst. And he is tackled after a gain of 7.
So the Sharks, after giving up a tough penalty, they had the play done. It was over. Williams was running out of bounds, and they had the stop they needed. So now the Pharaohs have a chance to take advantage of a huge mistake by Jersey. Player down on the field.
So they will attend to the injured player here. Trying to get a look at who it is that may be down. It is one of the Pharaohs following that carry by Black. And we've seen early in this game, John, that the biggest plays for Brooklyn have come on the ground. We've seen some misfires on potentially big completions and the one dropped pass by Mims, but Brooklyn hasn't really been able to put it together through the air yet, and that's something that last week, or I should say now, 2 weeks ago in the last Sharks game we covered, New Jersey did it pretty well, passing and gaining yards through the air.
I mean, still in the first quarter, obviously Brooklyn, first time you're seeing Jersey this season. It's a tough matchup. The emotions are high. There's the pressure of finishing with an undefeated record. So they have to settle in. They have to find a way to settle in, this Brooklyn Pharaohs team, because there's a lot of pressure in this game. Big stakes. So you can see those mistakes come up early, big drops. You get the ball, you see the ball coming your way in a game like this, and the emotions can just get to you, right? A lot of these players haven't been in those moments that often. So to see that for this Pharaohs team, that's why you establish the run. You're not going to see as many mistakes as you would throwing the football. So if that run game gets going, the Pharaohs, they've got a good shot here.
It's been a couple of years since I called a game for the Pharaohs, as they do help the injured player off the field. That's offensive lineman number 64, Michael Emery, who is walking off under his own power. And, of course, we hope he's okay. The Pharaohs hope to have him back soon. But when we covered the Pharaohs a couple of years back as part of the EFA, this was a very prolific offense. I think they leaned a bit more heavily on the passing game than they did the ground game, but they were still a balanced offense, and that's always key at the semi-professional level, maintaining that balance on offense. That being said, oftentimes they say the team that wins the battle at the line of scrimmage most often wins the game. The battle between the offensive line and the defensive line of both sides, always key.
Absolutely. It's that line of scrimmage. That's where the games are won, in the trenches. But you've got a quarterback here that leads your team in rushing as well as passing, obviously. So they definitely rely on him a lot. In this run game, they need to get going this season.
Williams, the personification of a dual-threat quarterback. He's going deep, and he is nearly intercepted. What a play in coverage to break it up and nearly to pick it off by Kelly Gallimore.
What a way to ball hawk. Go locate that football and go up and just at least break it up. He almost went up and got it. What a play by Gilmore to go up and just dominate that rep.
That is great coverage by Gallimore on that play. Mims had him by a step or two, and Williams with a rare underthrown deep ball. We've seen him in the past so adept at airing the ball out down the field and hitting those big plays to Mims. Not this time. Gallimore wins the battle on the outside, and that brings up 3rd down and about 4 here. Once again, a spread shotgun set for Brooklyn, and Williams will look to throw. He fires left, tight window, and broken up. Getting his hand in there was Dimitri Wilson on the short out route, and that will bring up 4th down.
These corners, you can just tell they're playing with a bit of an extra fire tonight. Back-to-back solid plays by these defensive backs, and that is a unit that if you're not winning at the line of scrimmage, if you force a team to pass as well, you have to rely on those corners to make plays, sometimes in man coverage like we saw with Gallimore, and then a zone play like we just saw right there.
Right now, it looks like Brooklyn is preparing to punt. They are sending a completely different personnel unit out onto the field. So it looks like a Brooklyn punt is forthcoming. Immediately following this punt, Tyler, we will finally meet the Jersey Sharks offense, as promised a bit earlier. So following the punt, we'll get right to that. And Jersey, assuming they do get the football back here, will once again be looking to take the lead in this first quarter.
Good way to save the announcer jinx on the potential punt to see if they
get
the ball in the first place.
I am well accustomed to the commentator's jinx as that punt travels toward the 10-yard line. It bounces toward the sideline and out of bounds. With that, let's meet the Jersey Sharks offense.
Christopher Spiller, Sacred Heart University.
Stephen Jones, Bethel College.
Devon Hemingway, Lawrence High School.
Justin Bieber, Pennsauken High School.
Lance Fisher, Van High School.
Shamar Terrier, Hudson High School, number 2.
Kyle Rinsky, Fordham University.
Kyle Tobias, Franklin. John Norman, Social Education High School.
Brian Lynn, Garrett High School. Alex Feliciano, I'm from Eastside High School.
Anthony Loney, Metuchen High School.
First down and 10 for Jersey as you got a chance to meet the Sharks ahead of this first down snap. Second drive of the game for Jersey. Their last drive was halted at the goal line. They did have 1st and goal from about the 3. Huge tackle by Mosby, not to be lost in all of that. He prevented a touchdown. And now the Sharks start from inside their own 10. Throw downfield. Incomplete. Getting his fingertips on it was Tate, but Chris Cuolo put it just a bit too far in front of him.
Just a bit too outside for Ricky Tate on that play. He got a hand on it, so sometimes you see a lot of people's mentality is if it touches your hands, you've got to make that catch. But he was only able to get that one hand out there. That would have been really the play of the season if Tate's able to make that catch. Just a tough one. Chris Cuolo kind of missing on a couple throws early in this game, but you see the offense is definitely opened up. Just Chris Cuolo has to hit on these throws.
And that's something to watch throughout the rest of the night. We've seen that post route find some room in the secondary. The first throw that nearly went for a touchdown, a bit of a tighter window, but if those outside receivers can get a corner on their back, that's a throw that the Sharks clearly are trusting Chris Cuolo to make. 2nd and 10. Handoff. Bounced outside by Jones Jr. He makes a nice cut, making a man miss as he nearly picked up the first down. Give him 8 on the carry.
Jones just runs so hard every single play. Again, another one of those runs that a lot of the time you see maybe go for 2 or 3 yards, and he just breaks a tackle, keeps pushing forward, keeps the legs churning, and turns a play like that into 8 yards where they desperately needed it to get out of their own end zone.
Third down and short. The Sharks need 2 for a first down. Pressure coming. Throw goes left, too high and nearly picked. The intended target was the slot receiver on the play. That was Saru. It went over his head, and nearly coming up with the interception was Payton.
That came out interesting. I don't know if that got tipped at the line, that throw, but it just came out interesting. Looked like it was wobbling just a tad. I think he wasn't expecting that ball to be where it was, the receiver on that play. So just an interesting throw by Chris Cuolo these past couple throws. But if that was tipped at the line, understandably, great play by the defensive line. But definitely got to figure out communication if it wasn't the case.
And for those who have just joined us, once again, we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. The internet simply not suitable for video live streaming here in Edison. We are operating off of a dedicated paid wireless hotspot, so we have the best service you can have without wired internet. We are not operating off of a cell phone. Unfortunately, even the dedicated hotspot does not have strong enough connectivity as the punt is sent away, and this one will land at about the 43. It skips into the arms of the return man, Mims. He's got a head of steam up the sideline, and he steps out of bounds at about the Jersey 25-yard line. So a big return on the punt. Sets up the Pharaohs with great field position. But as I was saying, we are going to upload a clean version of the broadcast, start to finish, as soon as we can. Once the game is over, I will probably be back in my editing studio, I'd say about 30 minutes after the game. So we should get it uploaded very quickly, and you can go back and take in the game as a whole with video as we intend. That being said, if it were not for the need to upload a clean copy of the game, we would go voice only from this point forward.
First quarter, ladies and gentlemen, with the score, Brooklyn Pharaohs 0.
And with that, the first quarter comes to a close. So we'll step aside for a quick 30-second break. When we come back, no score at the start of quarter number 2 between the Pharaohs and Sharks.
Attention, local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we are back from the campus of Edison High School. No score between the Sharks and the Pharaohs at the start of quarter number 2. And John, we spoke about it during the pregame, and it looks like you were right on the money. You expected the defenses to rule the first half, with the offenses then perhaps beginning to find their footing a bit later. So far, it looks like you had the script.
I might have maybe wrote it myself, actually. I might have had to check it out. But
Ghost authoring, perhaps?
Maybe I'm a, call me Drake's ghostwriter or something. But It's definitely a game, something you see a lot at this level of football and just late games like this in general where defenses just have that extra fire. You get hyped up a little differently. You change the playlist a little bit. So you come out just firing the first few drives, but eventually that wears down. And the offense starts to show out, so now you get it close to the red zone here for the Brooklyn Pharaohs, so maybe they'll strike first.
Well, if the Sharks defense can make another big stand in this spot, you have to think that will galvanize that sideline as Williams looks to throw, and he completes on the short out route to the left sideline. On the reception, that was Gerald Wilson.
Looking back at the Bears game, those out routes kind of close to the flat, just a couple yards outside. The Sharks defense, that is a hole that they give up often. It's a play that really works, at least a few times a drive on them. They play this zone that doesn't cover that area, but that's their defense. That's the way they run. They're fine giving those plays up if they're able to stop the rest of the offense, which they have been able to all season long.
2nd down and 3 here for Brooklyn. And I think when you allow that completion, it puts a lot of pressure on those DBs to make tackles in the flat. Oftentimes they're right on the backs of those receivers when they catch the football. Handoff up the middle. Black bounces it outside, gets a block from Williams, but the Sharks simply too much on that play. It's a loss of 2 on the carry by Black. He gave it all he had, but the Jersey defense simply too much.
When I talk about the Sharks smelling blood in the water, that's a play that I'm talking about right there. There were 6, 7, 8 players all swarming to the football. Someone go see ball, go get ball, and that's exactly what this defense was able to do.
3rd down and 6 now. Ball spotted at the 20-yard line. You have to think Brooklyn has 2 plays to pick this up. I did not see a kicker warming up for the Pharaohs pregame. Sharks elected not to kick earlier, so I'm beginning to think it's not on the table. 3rd and 6. Williams forced to step up and brought down. Nothing doing for the Pharaohs on 3rd down. Williams looked like he was about to throw it, instead tucked it and ran out of time as 3 Sharks came in to converge on him for the sack.
And Amir Cooper, a big one of them, the big guy coming through on the edge and just making a play right behind the quarterback. Just a huge force on this defensive front.
Pharaohs started this drive deep in Jersey territory. On 3 plays, they have picked up a net total of 3 yards, and now it is 4th down. Once again, the Pharaohs come out in a spread shotgun set. This, by far, the look we see the most from them. 4 receivers wide, 2 to the left and 2 to the right. Flanking Williams in the backfield is Black. And a flag flies, perhaps, for some early movement or a delay of game. The flag is on Brooklyn, but I don't think the players understood the signal. They were mocking it in the offensive huddle.
Not exactly sure. Maybe, these fans are starting to make some noise. The defense chants are coming through, so maybe that kind of bled down to the field. The players on the sideline clapping along with the fans as well. Maybe that disrupted some communication.
It was a sideline warning against the Sharks, John. So what the Pharaohs were doing, they were not mocking the signal. They were mimicking the signal, telling Jersey to back up. So no penalty for the first sideline warning. The next one will be an enforced 5-yard penalty.
Gotcha.
4th down, 7 to go. Williams right back in the shotgun. This time he moves Black to his left and sends him back right again. He's now motioning his receivers in tighter to the line of scrimmage. 2 receivers stacked left, 2 wide right. And a flag flies for a false start.
Flag on the play. False start.
They still threw the ball right into the end zone. Obviously nobody was moving, but now there's the false start that I thought it was before. So a big penalty on a 4th down.
4th and 12, a lot more daunting than 4th and 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, this just in. If you are not a member of either team, coaching staff or players,
So it will be 4th and 12.
behind the fence and in the stands.
And Brooklyn
You are not a member
still looking for the first points in this game. has now moved backwards on this drive. They got great starting field position after forcing a 3-and-out by Jersey. That 3-and-out coming after Jersey had second down and very short. Perhaps may have been third and short, but the carry by Jones Jr. brought them right to the sticks. They did not pick up a first down, and now Brooklyn is faced with a 4th and 12. Once again, they might be forced to rush here. Shotgun set, 4 receivers wide. Williams looking left, looking right, now scrambles. He's flushed out, running out of time, and taken down in the offensive backfield. He tried to buy himself some more time, but in for the sack is Julius Tobe.
We talked to him. He said he was locked in, and you see the fire of Julius Tobe making a play.
Called Agent Zero over public address. And he took down his intended target there, the quarterback in the backfield, as Williams was wrapped up and sacked.
Williams might have had a chance to take off on this play, too. Obviously, Tobe, he was in there on the play. But Williams definitely was still looking. He has the legs to make a play. Maybe could have got around Tobe, but just hesitated.
You hate to give up more yardage on that sack.
That, too.
I think you're better off just heaving it, and if you get picked, trust your receivers to make a tackle downfield. Maybe you draw a flag. Either way, it's a first down handoff for Jersey. And Jones Jr. lowers the shoulder, fumbles the football. The Pharaohs have it, and they are in for 6. Emerging from the pile was Tyreek Noble. Touchdown, Brooklyn.
So when it looked like Jersey had all the momentum you could ever ask for, your defensive lineman off the edge makes a great sack. First play, fumble, scoop and score. That is just a crushing blow against these Sharks. And the defense is marking their stamp on this game already.
Tyreek Noble, a name we are very familiar with here on the PDF Sports Network, making plays from his linebacker position. He comes through once again. He's a defensive end on the Brooklyn roster, and he came up huge on that last play. I didn't even see the football come out, so at some point when they were driving Jones Jr. backwards, I think he fumbled the ball over his head and straight into the arms of Noble.
Noble could have just ripped it out as well himself. Just saw the ball, ripped it out, took it all the way back for 6. But for Stephen Jones, again, that's the risk you have when you're such a hard runner. When you keep those legs churning, when you fight for extra yards, you can become susceptible to a play like that where you fumble the ball, because that gives the defense opportunities to get punches in and punch the football out. And that's the mistake right there that led to 6 points.
And you were right, John. He got stood up. I thought perhaps he lost the ball as he was driven back. He was wrapped up and spun around. And in the midst of being spun around, Noble just came in there and ripped the football out. Black up the middle on the run, and he stumbles in. It is the LAL. They are going for 1. I almost got caught again, John. You bailed me out.
I got you.
1-point conversion.
I held up the 1 for you.
So Brooklyn takes over following the 4-and-out by Jersey. First down snap, and ensuing play went for no gain, as that is a backwards pass by Williams. How did he get that off? And it goes for a gain of about 4 or 5 yards. What a play by Williams just to get that throw away.
Williams still on one knee, but he was just being dragged down. It was a long play. He was able to somehow stay up and just made that throw behind him. A risky play, a risky pass. That was behind him, so it could have been a fumble, but he was able to get enough air on it, make the completion. I guess a lateral at that point. Just found a way.
That sets up a 3rd down and much more manageable. If he takes that sack, that's probably a 3rd and 14 or 15. Instead, it is 3rd down and 5. Not to mention, that play could have been a catastrophe in the other direction had that ball found the turf rather than the arms of the receiver. That was McDonald again on the reception. 3rd and 5. Williams steps up, takes off, cuts inside, and picks up the first down pending the spot. I think he got it, and it is indeed a first down.
The escapability of Williams is just amazing to watch here on this field. He has just escaped and escaped time and time again. When your offensive line faces some pressure, you give up some rushers. When you have a quarterback who can just escape, bail you out like a play like that, it is so good to have. You can see why they're undefeated when you have a player like that.
First down, Pharaohs right at the midfield stripe. Williams really showing off his importance to this offense. We knew that already, but it's on full display right here on this drive. He made 2 plays already on this possession, and now he throws deep. He has a man open, and it is incomplete. It looked like Curry got there, but just couldn't track it into his grasp.
The only thing I can think of is the light was a factor. The light's on this field, but that was right there. Right behind the defense. Nobody there for it. Just could not track that football.
Brandon Curry showing off some breakaway speed on that route. He just took it straight up the field and motored past 2 defensive backs. All the Pharaohs needed was for Williams to put it on him, and for the second time tonight, Williams comes up empty on a deep ball. That one I'm not sure was his fault. It looked like it was there. A bit to the inside, but I think Curry certainly believes he should have caught that one. 2nd and 10. Flag flies. Screen pass complete. Blockers ahead, but a nice job by Jersey to make the tackle on Paul Hunter. We'll see what the flag is for now.
I have to imagine some kind of pre-snap. The second the ball got snapped, that penalty was released.
I think it was offsides on Jersey here. So instead of a 3rd down and about 6 or 7, it's going to be 2nd and 5.
You get the extra down and you get some yardage. It's a big mistake for this Jersey Shark defense.
The Pharaohs now with a chance to go up 2 possessions are methodically moving it up the field. And if you're Jersey with Brooklyn receiving the second half kickoff, it's a bit early to start counting possessions. Should Brooklyn score here, that changes very quickly. 2nd down handoff up the middle, and they are able to stand up Davin Collins.
That'll bring up 3rd and 4 for the Pharaohs.
3rd and 4 now. Maybe a long 4, closer to 5 for Brooklyn.
Now this is a play at midfield. We talk about the momentum of this game swinging based on a drive like this. This 3rd down could be one you look back on when you rewatch this game.
Obviously, any stop for Jersey is huge, but where you get the stop matters quite a bit as well. If you get backed up with your defense a bit closer to the end zone, all of a sudden, a punt could pin you inside your own 10 again. 3rd and 4. Williams running out of time, flushed out to his left. Flag flies. And Williams ducks out of bounds across the 40, which for now is enough for a first down.
On plays like that where the quarterback has to escape, you usually see a hold, but Sharks listening in on this one too, so who knows who this is on.
The officials engaged in the discussion as a group right now, and it looks like we're about to get some clarity as it is a hold against Brooklyn. So that sets them back 10 yards. It will now be 3rd and 14. And I'd have to think here that unless Brooklyn gets very close to a first down, they would punt in this situation.
Right, that changes your mentality. That changes your mentality right there. If you're going to punt, we've seen a lot of aggressive 4th down play calling. And around midfield, it seems to be 4 down territory. So, yeah, definitely. You back them up, and now the punt becomes something they'll use.
I think where you were, Brooklyn had 2 plays to get it. Now if you're Jersey, you know that you need to just keep them from picking up a first down here. or at least keep them from picking up a sizable enough gain to consider going for it. It's 3rd and 14. Williams under pressure, throws short over the middle, screen set up. Collins makes a man miss, but he will just get back shy of midfield. And you have to think that Brooklyn will probably punt this away here. 4th and 11 coming up.
Definitely looks like the punt unit's going to come up, but you talked about a team being pinned back. If you get your offense pinned back, the likelihood of you scoring or even getting a couple first downs is tough. So the Pharaohs have a chance to pin the Jersey Sharks back, and for an offense that hasn't been able to make a ton of completions down the field, it's not the worst position to be in if you're Brooklyn.
Initially, when Collins caught that ball, it looked kind of promising over the middle. They had blocking set up, but Jersey very obviously has this screen game of Brooklyn well scouted because they were ready for Collins to make his move toward that far sideline. They rallied to make the tackle, and now Brooklyn sets up to punt. Good punt here can really shift field position drastically in Brooklyn's favor. Flag flies, and now Mims will keep it. He's racing for the sticks. He's met by 2 Sharks, lost the football at the end, but was still a yard short. We will see what the flag is for, but Mims kept it on what appeared to be a fake punt by design. He is still down and was taken down about a yard short of the first down marker.
It's like a false start. They'll decline it.
Talk about a gift. If you're Jersey, not only do they get the flag for the false start, so you had that security blanket if they didn't get it, or if they did get it, I should say, but they didn't get it, and Mims took a huge hit at the end of that play. One of the bigger playmakers for this Brooklyn offense was a bit slow to get up. And now, rather than potentially getting pinned back inside your own 10-yard line, Jersey takes over from their own 43.
It was surprising because that didn't look like a designed fake. It just seemed that Jersey got off the edge and disrupted that punt enough to where Mims said, I have to take off, I have to make a play. And he almost got there.
Really tough to tell because you can scramble to your right and just kick it. I guess perhaps he wasn't confident in his ability to do so as Chris Cuolo pump fakes and throws one toward the sideline out of bounds. Wise decision there by the Sharks quarterback. He was under instant pressure.
The leading passer in the LAL had to face some tough pressure on that play. It's tough to make a completion. That's just one where you throw it away, and it's a great decision to throw it away and avoid intentional grounding, the strength to get that over the line of scrimmage, find a target, get it towards your sideline, and just keep your drive alive.
We still await our first offensive points in this game as we draw closer to halftime. Clock being kept down on the field, official time on the stopwatch of the head official. However, by our estimate, we have to be closing in on the 2-minute warning. Pistol formation here for Jersey. Jones Jr. back in there behind Chris Cuolo. And he will take the handoff up the middle. And he powers forward for a gain of about 5 yards.
It's good to see Jones Jr. getting back onto the field after the fumble. And see, he's definitely more willing to go down now after fumbling and giving up that touchdown. He just went right down. A lot of the times he'll just stay up, try to get that extra yard or two. So maybe there was a discussion, hey, just go down. Just go down once you feel that contact and get your yards.
Timeout Brooklyn ahead of this 3rd down and 5. I don't think this is 4-down territory for Jersey in a one-possession game, but if they get close enough, it might be. What do you think, John?
I mean, it depends how much time is left on the clock, really. If you think maybe there's a minute or about a minute 45, or we haven't hit the 2-minute warning yet. So if there's under 3 minutes left to go, I'd say you probably want to just punt this football and let the first half expire. You go into the second half in a 7-0 game, still very much in it. But it just depends on the clock whether you're going to go for it or not. If there's still time, you can punt it. If not, maybe you can go for it if you're a bit more down the field. It just depends how far they get. But midfield, it's tough to really tell if you're going to punt it or not. But at this point, in this game, in this type of game where the offenses are not moving at all, field position is going to matter so much more. So if you're able to pin them back inside the 15, that's the game right now. Can we pin them back inside the 15, maybe make a play, stuff them back closer to their own end zone, and just get ourselves an opportunity at their 40-yard line, and then make our drive.
In my opinion, there's no way you can go for this if you end up in a 4th down and 5. I think you have to pin them back and give your offense a chance to take over deep in Pharaohs territory, because thus far they've had a tough time sustaining drives. Just because you go for it and get it doesn't mean the drive continues all the way to the end zone. I think you're far enough from the end zone where you don't take the chance in a one-score game.
We've seen that a lot where they'll go for it, they'll get the first down around the 45, and then the drive stalls right after that. So the risk-reward usually just not there.
Trips to the right here. Motion man pre-snap, Jones Jr. Chris Cuolo throws his way, complete, and that's good for a first down. A well-executed swing pass following the pre-snap motion from Stephen Jones Jr., and he made a couple of plays during that last series of 3 downs, one on the carry and another there on the reception.
You don't see Jones Jr. catch the ball too often in these Jersey Shark games, but when he gets the ball, he can make anything happen as we approach the 2-minute warning.
We have reached the 2-minute warning, so our estimate was pretty good.
Just about right.
As I mentioned before, Brooklyn will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter, so this drive for Jersey becomes a big one. Going back to my previous point now, with it being so close to the 2-minute warning, I think there's a chance they may have gone for it.
There was definitely a chance, especially because you could have just ran down the clock after that 3rd down if you ran it.
Does Brooklyn let you?
They may
I'm
have
not
called
sure.
that timeout, right. At this point of the game, you know you have the 2-minute timeout coming up as well. So do you take the 2-minute timeout? Do you want it for yourself? But now that there's under a minute left, I feel like it's 4-down territory just about everywhere.
I think in plus territory now, it is certainly 4-down territory the rest of the way, should you not lose any additional yardage. If you were to have 3 straight incompletions, maybe I'd reconsider, but I think now that you've picked up the first down and you know how close you are to halftime, the rest of the field becomes 4-down territory in most situations.
And no clock would have expired if you just throw 3 straight incompletions, so it just depends how much time is left.
I think that's the only situation where you'd consider punting, is if you had 3 straight incompletions.
The minute 45 just about after that. But I expect them to run the ball.
1st and 10 from inside the Brooklyn 45. The throw goes sideline and sails just a bit high. Tight coverage on the play as well. Fisher, the intended target. Jefferson in on the coverage.
You can still run the ball, even though the 2-minute warning we've seen it now, but you're still plenty of time to run the football, pick up a first down, and just take this drive the same way you would if there were 7 minutes on the clock. So interesting decision to pass the ball on first down, when that's something you've been struggling at all game.
Both teams with a pair of timeouts. So as you said, John, the run is still on the table here. Jones Jr. to the right of Quisquolo in the shotgun. Sanders was moving pre-snap as that's thrown deep down the field. And that route was double covered. Quisquolo was looking for Fisher on the corner route, but we have another flag, and the Sharks are pointing in the direction of Brooklyn.
There may have been some talking after that hit on Chris Cuolo. He took a tough hit after that throw. I'm not sure if it's a roughing the passer or if it's for something that was said in that little scrum.
If you're Brooklyn here, a roughing the passing call really hurts, because this Jersey offense has had to scratch and claw for positive yardage. And that's the call, John. And with 3rd down and long looming, that is a killer penalty for Brooklyn.
Out of all the penalties that you could have in a moment like that, or anything that could happen besides a touchdown, that's one of the worst outcomes if you're Brooklyn. You give your opponent 15 yards for free and a first down without taking any time off the clock. So Chris Cuolo taking a tough hit. He gets rewarded for it. Now Jersey in prime position.
Chris Cuolo will look to throw. Has a nice pocket and throws into heavy traffic, incomplete. That was a dangerous throw over the middle, and his receiver paid for it as well. Taking a big hit there was Tate.
It's one of those passes that you maybe want to avoid if you're Chris Cuolo. Tate ran right into the safety, had to go get that football, doesn't see the safety, takes a tough hit. Might be one of those throws where you talk to your quarterback and say, hey, don't throw that football again.
He got it over 2 linebackers. Almost failed to squeeze it in front of the defensive back. And then Tate took a big shot as a result. Once again, trips to Chris Cuolo's right. Jones Jr. in the backfield. Shotgun set. Pump fake. 3rd down. Chris Cuolo throwing end zone. And a bit out of the reach of his intended target, Shamar Saru.
Had him behind the defense. That's a throw that only the top 1% of quarterbacks can really make on the money every single time. Almost had it, but that ball just a tad out the back of the end zone, and your receiver can't make a play on that.
That will bring up 4th down. We will see what Jersey elects to do here. I don't believe we've had a play where the clock was running following its conclusion. We had the personal foul and 3 incomplete passes.
So there are your 3 incompletions, but now they're a bit more down the field, so it's 4th down territory no matter what.
You certainly go for it here because of the 15-yard personal foul. I was just recollecting what I'd said before. 4th and 10. Chris Cuolo. Flush to his right, running out of time. Heaves it downfield, and it is tipped. Incomplete. That ball hung up there for quite a while. 3 Pharaohs in the area. They tried to punch it down to the turf, but Sharks just didn't have enough bodies in the area to make that even more interesting, and it's a turnover on downs for Jersey.
Chris Cuolo just had to get that ball up, was hoping for a pass interference call, a holding, anything, or his receiver to make a miraculous play. They don't get the call, they don't get the catch, and the Sharks, with prime field position, are unable to convert this opportunity. Still scoreless in this game.
So Brooklyn will take over in a 7-0 game. They will start this drive from their own 29-yard line. And you have to figure they have maybe a minute and 20 seconds.
Just about, maybe a minute 30. Again, a lot of play. None of those plays after that 2-minute warning were on the ground or complete.
Once again, official time being kept down on the field. And we've seen Brooklyn willing to take shots deep down the field. They failed to connect to this point and would love to change that here. 1st and 10. Williams fakes the handoff and looks to run. He scrambles right and will not throw it away as he steps out of bounds. Well, he did Jersey a favor there.
Right now, if you're Jersey, you should still have a couple timeouts as well. Maybe think about calling a timeout if you get a play, if they run the ball or whatever they want to do here.
Well, if you're Williams there and you're not going to slide down in bounds, you would think that he'd want to throw it away and at least prevent the loss of yardage, as that play is officially a loss of 2. But we've seen Williams a bit hesitant to throw the ball away throughout this game. And you have to think that at some point that could come back to bite him in a big situation. It hasn't yet.
He has not thrown an interception on the year, so he could also just be trying to say that he went the whole season without throwing an interception. So
you can still throw it away.
He could throw it away. But it's tough to – depends on where the receivers are on that play as well. If they're coming up the field or wherever
he's out of the pocket, just throw it away.
Right.
Throw it into the bench. He almost bobbled the snap there as the timing was completely thrown off on that screen pass. And just like that, John, no more than 15 or 20 seconds have elapsed, and it's 3rd and 12.
That's not what you want to see. I mean, they're also in a position where, the punting hasn't been – they've had moments where they've had a couple punts get whiffed on and shanked out to the left. So Jersey's still alive in terms of trying to get points on the board in this first half. You've got to get a stop here, too.
It's now 3rd and 12. And Jersey still has those 2 timeouts in their back pocket. Those could prove huge if they get the ball back in any remotely decent field position. Brooklyn to the line. Once again, they are in the shotgun. 2 receivers stacked in tight To the right of Williams, 2 receivers split wide to the left. Williams will look to throw. He pump fakes and runs out of time once again. 2 Sharks in on that sack in the offensive backfield. Number 32, Michael Kuzar, and number 44, Joe Davis, take down Williams for a loss of about 5.
This Jersey Shark defense, when you need a play, they make a play. And the Sharks got a chance to get the ball back here with a bit of time left in this second quarter.
Well, they spot him way back, John. He lost more than 5 there. It looks like they may have given him a loss of 10.
He kept running backwards. It's that risk you take when you're a quarterback with escapability. You have to run backwards a lot of the time to escape, and if you give up a sack, you might be 8 or 9 yards back. That was a big loss.
Right now, Sharks are eyeing the official. For a moment, I thought the Brooklyn bench tried to signal the quarter was over. I don't see any way the quarter's over.
Not at all, unless the clock kept running on the field.
The clock has not continued running after any play unless Jersey declined to call a timeout right there.
But even then, the first quarter or the second quarter would still have some time left, you'd imagine.
By my estimation, it would.
Still should be about a minute, even if you let that run.
So we await a punt here from Brooklyn. And they do get this one away just barely. It's a pretty good kick. And it goes out of bounds across the Brooklyn 45 at the 47. So I think we are certainly under a minute to go in the half now. I did not see Jersey call a timeout. You have to think they called one following the sack.
You think so. I mean, that's a timeout you have to call. Would leave them with 1 left, I believe. You give yourself just a bit of time to at least maybe get, I mean, you can even just throw the ball 3 times down the field, try to get a deep ball completion and then work from there. But there should still be around a minute left to go in this first half.
I did not see a signal, and it doesn't reflect it on our screen right now. I do believe Jersey must have 1 timeout left. I'm sure we'll find out shortly. So the Sharks will take over in plus territory once again. Ball at the Brooklyn 47-yard line. We expect that there is under a minute to go in the first half. This time a spread shotgun set for Jersey. Chris Cuolo flanked in the backfield by Jones Jr. Hemingway the motion man. Chris Cuolo looks to throw and is nearly picked off. Rolling to his right on the design boot. He nearly threw it straight to Paul Hunter.
You see those design bootlegs when your offensive line is giving up pressure in the passing game. So maybe they wanted receivers to get down the field a bit more on that play also to try to get at least down to the 25, maybe get a big completion. But they just swallowed that one up, the Brooklyn Pharaohs defense did.
2nd and 10 coming up. This time they will line up with 3 receivers to Chris Cuolo's right. 2 stacked out wide, just a couple of yards from the sideline. 1 man in the slot right, 1 wide left. And they will throw it to Hemingway out of that right slot complete. But a flag did come in from the secondary. And this is a big call here. If this goes against Brooklyn, that play will stand and the clock will be stopped. If it's against Jersey, that sets you back 5 or 10 yards. And it is a face mask against Brooklyn. So add 15 to the end of that play. And John, just like that, I believe that will put Jersey just outside of the red zone.
The Sharks are in business. Another 15-yard personal foul given up around this area of the field. Sharks weren't able to convert last time around, but here's a chance for them to try to redeem themselves down by 7.
All of a sudden, Jersey is now in business. It looks like they're going to spot this one at about the 25. I'm not sure how you had a personal foul that then results in the ball being spotted there.
It is a face mask. Those usually do come in 15-yard increments.
I thought that play got much further than the 40.
Must have been before the completion.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The ball is spotted just outside the 25 right now, and a discussion is ongoing between the Pharaohs and the referees. Jersey effectively getting a timeout here to talk things over. Once again, our screen reflects Jersey with 2 timeouts left. We did not see a signal for a Sharks timeout following 3rd down on the previous Brooklyn drive, but we do believe there may be just 1 Jersey timeout remaining.
First and 10 for the Sharks from the Pharaohs' 26-yard line.
Yeah, one thing to think about is how much time is left on this clock. What kind of plays do you have open in this playbook at your disposal if you're the Jersey Sharks? Are they going to take 3 end zone shots? What's going to happen here for Jersey? We'll see. We'll definitely be able to tell how much time is left on the clock on the first play.
So Jersey will snap it from the 25. They trail by 7, looking to strike just before halftime. Trips to the right. Chris Cuolo looking to throw. Throws it that way. Overthrown and intercepted! Brooklyn with a chance to take this one all the way back. Blockers ahead. Here comes Davin Collins, and he's tripped up inside the 30. And that may have been the final play of the half. It looked like Jersey had a good chance to score a touchdown on that play, but Chris Cuolo fired that throw high, and it was picked off by Davin Collins. The half is over, and a Shark is down at the end of that play. I believe it's Fisher, who may have been injured on the tackle.
He's the one that made the tackle and made the play. Hopefully he's able to get back to his feet. But that throw from Chris Cuolo just did not get enough air under it. Wasn't able to find that hole. But that could have been dangerous. I thought that was a pick 6 for sure, but Fisher was able to just get down the field and make a tackle, make a great play.
So that is indeed the end of the first half. And what very nearly was a touchdown for Jersey instead sees a high throw intercepted by Brooklyn to bring the first half to a close. Pharaohs in front of the Sharks, 7-0 as we head to halftime. Brooklyn looking to complete an unbeaten regular season. Jersey hoping to give themselves a shot at the top seed heading into the LAL playoffs. And we are back from Edison High School here on the PDF Sports Network. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside John McCooch for the start of the second half in this League of All Leagues matchup between the Brooklyn Pharaohs and the Jersey Sharks. And John, you said it during our pregame. You expected these defense to show out in a big way during the first half, and that's what happened. The only 7 points scored in this game were scored by the Pharaohs defense. Stephen Jones Jr. stripped of the football by Tyreek Noble. He takes it all the way for a touchdown. Late in that first half, in fact, on the final play of half number one, Chris Quisquolo aired it out downfield. It looked like he had a chance for a touchdown on that route over the middle. Instead, the ball a bit high. Davin Collins picked it off, and he nearly turned that into 6 more for Brooklyn.
It's just that defense that Brooklyn has had all season long. These two teams in the bottom or at the top of points allowed. They have not allowed a lot of points. We've said the number was 79 between these two teams that they've allowed all season long, not just the past couple weeks, all season long. These two teams have not allowed a lot of points, and we're seeing that today. This is a defensive matchup. It is a slugfest right now. You'd have to imagine maybe the Jersey Sharks, you're seeing the turnovers. Maybe they're a bit worn out at this point. This could be the time that, since the Jersey Sharks defense had to be on the field quite a bit, this could be the time that the Brooklyn Pharaohs offense could get going. And they've got a star quarterback in Kareem Williams who's shown some escapability, has made some decisions that we may not agree with in terms of when he goes out of bounds, when he doesn't run, when he decides to run. But in the second half, that offense may get going.
Williams right in the middle of several big plays that could have been for Brooklyn in that first half as Collins lost his footing on the kick return to start the second half, and he's still down as he was tackled just across the 25. Still has not gotten up, and immediately medical personnel making their way out onto the field from the sidelines.
Looked like he had two Sharks on top of him. Hopefully he gets up all right.
He lost his footing and then got hit when he was on his way down to the turf. So you have to wonder if whatever is ailing him occurred when he lost his footing,
right,
or after he was tackled. He's hopping off right now on one leg, so it looks like a right leg injury for Collins.
Those non-contact injuries can always be something you worry about, so hopefully he's able to be all right. At least he was able to get up and hop.
For a very long time, Collins was a big part of the PDF Sports Network intro in our debut game against the New York Bears. This was back now over 2 years ago, but in that game, Collins returned a kickoff for a touchdown. We've also seen him score as a running back, as a receiver. Haven't seen him score as a passer yet. I do believe we've seen him record a pick six as well, so he has scored in just about every way you can here on PDF, and we hate to see any player go down, especially a player as talented as Collins.
If you're the offense, you got to find a way to keep moving. It's next man up mentality, I'm sure. They've got some playmakers on the outside. Look at Mims, who's dropped a pass that could have led to a big play. Maybe he steps up in some absence.
First down, Brooklyn. They start this drive from their own 27, and they will begin with a run. That goes for a couple of yards, maybe one on the play. Second and 9 coming up.
Now you can settle into this game. If you're Brooklyn, you have the touchdown lead. It's not late enough to get conservative with play calling and just run out clock, but if the game script kind of goes the way it's been, it's getting to that point a lot sooner than you might think.
Well, Brooklyn has had a tough time connecting on throws downfield. The opportunities have been there, but it's been primarily in the ground game that's kept them moving forward. And here they'll have a nice gain on the ground. Black accelerates out to the 35 and was taken down right there. That will set up 3rd and 2.
Now you get a 3rd down and short yardage. This is where you start to make drives happen if you're this offense. Neither offense has got anything working so far in this game, really. But a few times getting the red zone. The Sharks were right at the 3-yard line at one point. Gave up a penalty and pushed them back, and the Pharaohs haven't really reached that point too often. But these 3rd downs and your ability to convert them, that defines you as an offense.
It's a big play for Brooklyn. 3rd and very short. Just about anything on the table here. And Williams will keep it. He looks to run. And he heads for the sideline as a flag flies in the offensive backfield. For now, Williams has the first down, but more flags come in, potentially for a late hit.
Players on the sideline were pointing to their heads, saying maybe that was some unnecessary roughness or a late hit, like you mentioned.
These may be offsetting penalties, and I think that's a huge break for Brooklyn because the hold was going to back them up to likely a 3rd and 12.
Would have forced you to punt.
Tough to make out on our monitor exactly how that play ended from where I'm seated, but we'll get one more slow motion look at it as we await the official call from the official. It's holding on the offense and a personal foul on the defense. Offsetting penalties, and I think in this case a huge win for Brooklyn.
Absolutely. Especially if you're able to give up the holding penalty. If you did give up the holding penalty, you would have been backed up, had to punt near your own end zone. Sharks probably get the ball about the 40-yard line, but now you get another chance.
So we'll do it again, 3rd and 2. Once again, the Pharaohs will come out in the shotgun. 2 receivers wide left and 2 wide right. Williams kept it on the previous 3rd down attempt. And he will keep it again here. Looking for running room and won't find any. As he is brought down maybe a few inches past the line of scrimmage. Either way, it will not be enough for a first down. And that will bring up 4th and short. John, what do you do here?
It's a tough decision. I think that based on how your defense has been playing, you see a 0 in the score column. I punt the ball here, even in this situation, in this kind of game. But you also maybe want to go for that killing blow. Although you're around your own 35-yard line, 36, maybe 35.5-yard line. So even again, like we've said, even if you get the first down, that's not a touchdown. You still have to go all the way down the field.
It is so short what they need to pick this up. I'm almost inclined to say go for it, and I think they're going to. At the very least, they'll try and draw the Sharks offside. I think you try that first and then talk it over. Maybe you use a timeout in this spot. You hate to burn one, but with the lead, and as you said, the way their defense is playing, I think you can afford it. But they need such a short distance to pick this up. I think you have to trust your guys to get the push. 2 men in the backfield alongside Williams. And he will call timeout.
They may have went the get them to jump strategy, the jump route, unless if they don't bring a punter on. Well, that was early in the play clock to make that timeout decision if you're Williams.
The best of the punts that we've seen from Mims have netted them about, 30 or 35 yards, you think? So if he were to punt from here, that would put the ball at the Jersey 35 from their own 35. So that's a 30-yard punt, maybe if you're lucky at the 30. It comes down to how confident are you in the big men up front to get the push that you need to pick up a first down. If you get a good push up front, you're going to pick this up. It is that close. This is less than a yard here. Sometimes those inches are the hardest inches to pick up.
Well, especially because you know this ball is probably going up the middle. And if you're Jersey, a team that has made stops like that, they've stuffed this run multiple times during this game in 3rd down situations and 4th down situations. They've had to face it. So you're at your own side of the field, and you mentioned the punt. If you probably get a stop based on how this game has gone at the 35-yard line, unless you give up a big play, you give up a drive. But based on how your defense has been playing, you can trust your defense. So maybe you trust your defense even in this part of the field if you trust them that much.
I'm a bit surprised to see them line up in the shotgun. That being said, Williams is not a big quarterback, so it won't be as easy for him to push the pile and drive his legs for a first down. Maybe you try a halfback plunge here, hand it off to your back and have him try and leap. That's risky when you're not on the goal line. Williams will fake the handoff, and now he looks to throw. Open man, complete.
First down, however, there is a flag in the backfield. I believe that will be against the Pharaohs. Holding against the Pharaohs.
You can't do that! You can't do that! You can't do that! You can't do that! You can't do that!
There is an instructional section of our cheering squad in the stands advising that holding is something that can't be done. Fourth and 11. It'll be in Pharaoh territory, where the Sharks will take over first and 10. For those of you seeking guidance and direction as to what's going on, I can't help you. First and 10 for the Sharks. A runaway train over the right-hand side for a Shark touchdown. Pick up of maybe a yard. That'll bring up second and 9. Devon Hemingway writing himself into this game. First, heard a long time.
But they'll go for the kick here. Joe, they're going to kick this football.
So we saw that last week. The Sharks will try the 2-point field goal, which is a bit surprising considering they didn't kick earlier. So I thought the kick was off the table. I was mistaken. It's a low snap, and the kick is blocked. But a flag is down on the field.
They ran right into the kicker.
John, I have to admit, I'm pretty shocked that they're trying to kick this here because they were 0 for the game last week trying to kick. And they did not kick it earlier when it would have been an attempt from a very similar distance, if not closer, on goal to go. So I'm a bit perplexed to see them kick here.
And it's not like Chris Cuolo could really warm up on the sideline because, well, he's playing quarterback.
Yeah.
So he's not even fresh for this.
He was getting more than warm pregame, and we saw him kicking from about the 25 or 30-yard line.
About this spot.
Yeah.
So he can make the kicks. I mean, it's a bit different when you've got 11 guys rushing in your face.
Yes, of course.
And you got to get it over your lineman and all that. And we just saw a gap in protection on that kick.
Yeah, but they were 0 for the game last week. Every attempt was blocked. But they picked up the flag. You know,
they picked up the flag.
I saw, and I said last week, the last game I covered, it was 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, they were 0 for the game trying to kick for 2. And obviously we don't have a breakdown of how successful they've been on the season unless they have that.
They do not.
In the live stats or in the hosted sports stats, I should say. Very used to the collegiate game where they have live stats. But I don't know if we have those numbers. Assuming we don't, I'm just going based off of what I saw 2 weekends ago, and I'm shocked that they tried to kick it.
I'm very surprised. I mean, it led to that, but
it would be on one of the last 2 pages if they have that information.
I'm scrolling through my pages right now. Here we go. This is the league rankings. So usually they have Anthony Maloney as the usual kicker for the Sharks. He's not kicking today. He's 4 for 8 on the year, but that's not who's kicking.
So they try to kick. It's blocked, and a flag on the play was picked up. So the score remains 7-6. And once again, we do apologize if we lost the latter half of our touchdown call, but the internet is still not enough to get us through here.
And Chris Cuolo hasn't kicked all season. I have the Shark stats now. They have not kicked all season. He's not kicked all season long. Their usual kicker, Anthony Maloney, is 4 for 8.
Well, I'm surprised to hear that he hasn't kicked because during the pregame, he looked pretty well acclimated to kicking.
He didn't look bad at all.
We were doing our pregame interviews along the Sharks sideline, and he was out there drilling 40-yard field goals. Kickoff on its way, and Mims has it bounce through his legs. I don't believe he touched it. He still hasn't scooped it up, and now he's in his own end zone. Mims racing for the far sideline. A flag is down. He's still moving and is finally tackled just shy of the 20. A lot to unpack on that play.
And none of it's good for the Brooklyn Pharaohs. Unless if there's a penalty on Jersey where the flag was, but for Mims, the ball goes through your legs. I assume he touched it at that point if he's going to go pick it up and not need it.
I don't think he did, but he has to recover it.
Right.
He has to recover it unless a teammate comes and helps him. You can't let the Sharks scoop it up.
Right.
But the danger is if you touch that and then the ball goes into the end zone, you have to take it out. That's the danger. The ball never reached the end zone until Mims took it in himself.
And then he ran into his own end zone, which could have led to a safety and given the Sharks the lead in this game.
Wouldn't that be a way to take the lead?
That's one way. That's one way to get 2 points.
So, obviously the Sharks now, as we've seen, are willing to kick, which does not make this a one-touchdown game. If you don't have kickers, this effectively is a touchdown game barring a safety.
Right. At that point, you're playing 1s and 2s at that point.
Yeah.
When it comes to touchdowns.
But if a field goal attempt were not on the table, this is a one-touchdown game barring a safety. So we will see if Brooklyn can find their footing on offense. Their best opportunities, as I said, have come on the deep ball, and they have not been able to connect so far tonight. the Sharks have had constant pressure on Reem Williams. He's had a really tough time getting the ball out. When they've handed it off, they have found some success, but it has not been consistent success.
It's just not a lot of consistency anywhere for either offense. We started to see it now with the Sharks late in this game. And maybe the second half, like I was saying pregame, that's the time where you figure it out. But haven't seen it from Brooklyn just yet at this third quarter.
And when you look at it through the lens of these two defenses, these defenses are really good. As Williams will look to throw. He airs it out. Right sideline and picked off! Intercepted by the Sharks. And after having one bounce out of his hands earlier, Kelly Gallimore has the pick, and Jersey will take over after just one Brooklyn snap.
You talk about the deep ball. They go for it. They try a deep ball play on first down. And these Shark defensive backs who have been shut down all night long finally get the interception. There's Gallimore flexing, putting the sword, sheathing it. And what a play by Gallimore.
Gallimore, perhaps not the guy that you want to target on that deep ball. He has been right there all night. A great play earlier after he was beaten by a step or two, nearly turned that one into a pick. And here he made like a wide receiver and brought that one in along the sideline. A great play from the Sharks defensive back.
I mean, when it's a throw like that, it goes to that kind of area, you can basically act like you're the wide receiver. That's what he was able to do. He tracked it like he was the wide receiver for that play and just went up and got it.
He really looked like he has some past experience at receiver, didn't he?
They could probably throw him out there.
With the injury we saw earlier, perhaps they might. As Chris Cuolo goes deep up the left sideline. And it's off the fingertips of his intended target on the play. Ricky Tate was there, and it hit off of his fingertips. Maybe that ball was overthrown by a foot.
Maybe just a tad. That ball could not have been. They get the offside penalty against the Pharaohs, so still some positivity out of that play. Could have been a free play for Chris Cuolo, but, man, if he catches that in stride, that is a touchdown for Jersey.
And if Chris Cuolo knew it, that being that there was a flag down for offsides against Brooklyn, that's a really heads-up play. That being said, he didn't need the free play to make that a good decision, as Tate gained a step, and the ball let him open as well. He got some help from the throw. He just missed it by a few inches.
Just single coverage on the outside, and he just burned his man.
1st and 5 now. They'll fake the handoff and throw a quick swing pass in the slot. Jersey has blocking, and that's a nice gain on the play of about 14. Raquan Smalley, who caught the touchdown, picks up 14 on that completion.
Quan Smalley has just been showing out in this second half. We didn't really call his number too much in the first half, but comes through, catches the touchdown, and now makes a big play on the screen.
And keep in mind, John, Fisher went down at the end of the first half. Lance Fisher, who you spoke to pregame, we have not seen him yet in the second half. I do see him with his helmet on along the sideline. He has not come into the game yet. Once again, Chris Cuolo looks to throw. He fakes and throws short. That may have been a backwards pass. Nobody is playing it through. Let's get a look at that on replay. It was very close. Out of his hand. I thought that may have been a backwards pass.
Looked forward when I was looking at it live, but we will see. That's close.
That's a backwards pass. That is a backwards pass. What do you think, Tyler? Backwards?
I think it's backwards.
Our engineer agrees. I think that was certainly a backwards pass. And if the Pharaohs play that one through, that could have been trouble.
And Jones wasn't going for it either.
I'm shocked that nobody thought to get on top of that football.
No one on the Pharaohs defense, quarterbacks, receivers, they just heard the whistle and let it go dead.
Well, they tried to fake the screen and throw deep up the sideline. The Pharaohs were ready for it. That was the third read on the play. And now it's 2nd and 10. Jones Jr. on the handoff, and he will lose a yard or two on the play.
That'll be a loss of a yard. That'll bring up 3rd and 11 for the Sharks.
And if you're Brooklyn here, I think you have to make Jersey beat you through the air. We saw on the last drive the ground game really got things started. The completion for the Sharks on this particular drive went for 14, but it was a short completion. In the secondary, I think Brooklyn just has to keep those wideouts in front of them and commit in the box to stopping the run. If Jersey wants to throw those short passes, trust your defense to make the tackle.
Jersey's starting to realize how much man coverage Brooklyn is running, and so you see Fisher back in the game. He's lined up on the right on the outside, so that's good to see that he's back on the field. But he's a guy that can go up, make a play. He's got speed.
He was a favorite target of Chris Cuolo in that first half. First we're seeing of him here in the third quarter. 3rd and 11. Chris Cuolo throws in the direction of Fisher, and he's got it. First down, Sharks. This time Fisher goes down and scoops it off the turf. He had a chance in the end zone earlier. This time he comes up big on 3rd and long.
And it's another one of those low passes. He just has to get his arms under that football. That's exactly what he did, and he makes a big play.
1st and 10, fake handoff. Hemingway on the short reception is pushed out of bounds after a gain of maybe 2. Officially, that's going down. It's perhaps no gain on the play. I thought he got a yard or 2 on it.
I thought he got at least a couple.
And I think they're going to give him 3 here. So they move the sticks. And the Sharks will take that on 1st down. Give him 4 on the play. Tough to gauge just how far he got along that near sideline. A lot of blue jerseys between us and the out of bounds. 2nd and 6. Jersey driving with hopes of taking the lead. They will hand off here. Jones Jr. up the middle. And he's tackled for no gain.
After a couple big plays, surprised they didn't go quicker after that, too, because you had momentum. Now it seems like this offense is stalled again.
One of the Pharaohs ended up in the Sharks bench. They had to scoop him up off the turf over there, which took some time.
He took his time for sure. He knew what he was doing.
You have to think this is 4-down territory. You're outside of any potential field goal range, and I'm still hung up on the fact that they didn't kick it in the first quarter, but elected to kick for the 2 points. That being said, I don't think they would try and kick it here, giving them 2 plays to get this. It's 3rd and 6. Spread shotgun set, 4 receivers wide. Jones Jr. in the backfield, flanking Chris Cuolo. Chris Cuolo looking right. And the swing pass is knocked down. A-King Gaston gets his hand up and swats that pass down to the turf. As we had whistles after that play, I wasn't sure if that was for getting some players separated or perhaps for the end of the quarter. I can't imagine the quarter's over.
I'm seeing 4's up.
Yeah, so am I. And that is the end of the third quarter. That was a quick quarter, John.
Yeah, definitely. That flew by.
Sure did. The Pharaohs ran 1 play. Maybe 2? That opening drive. I forgot. Their opening drive of the second half.
They ran
That's
some
about
clock out.
right.
Right. It feels right.
Yeah. I forgot all about that drive. We'll stay right here through the break between quarters. But the Pharaohs, to start the third quarter, went for it on 4th down, were called for holding, and then punted it away. And from there, the Sharks went on to score and pulled to within a point. They elected to kick for 2, did not get it. After the kick was blocked, there was a flag on the play. That was picked up. And then on the first play of the ensuing Pharaohs drive, Kareem Williams was intercepted by Kelly Gallimore. And the Sharks now reaping the benefits of that turnover have it with 4th down coming up. Ball at the Brooklyn 28-yard line.
And going for it, it doesn't even feel like a decision at this point in the game, too. So, huge play coming up on 4th down.
Shotgun set for Jersey. Once again, 4 receivers wide. And Chris Cuolo is looking left. Hemingway makes a man miss. And he has the first down and then some. He's still going. And he's finally brought down just outside the 10. Devon Hemingway didn't have enough off the reception, made the first man miss, and then skipped forward through several Brooklyn defenders to pick up first down yardage.
Not just the first man miss, the first, the second, the third, the fourth. Hemingway running with earnest. What a run by Hemingway after the catch. Fourth down and plenty from Hemingway.
First and 10 from, I believe, the 12. Maybe the 13. Either way, Jersey can pick up a first down without scoring a touchdown. The Brooklyn defense now with their backs against the wall as we play in the fourth quarter. The Sharks still trail by 1. Once again, a spread shotgun look from Jersey. Jones Jr. in the backfield as Chris Cuolo signals his receivers. He will hand off. Jones Jr. with running room, and he's brought down at the 3. That will be a gain of 9 on the play. 2nd and 1 from the 3 coming up.
Jones Jr. is just such a gutsy runner. We'll get a timeout here.
Timeout, Pharaohs.
So Brooklyn, I think, very wisely takes a timeout there. You could tell Jersey was looking to hurry back to the line and get another snap off before Brooklyn could make any adjustments to their defense in what is nearly goal to go. It is 2nd and 1, and I think now if you're Jersey here, you're in a position where you effectively have 5 plays or more to get this.
Just about. It depends how long it takes you to get the 1 yard. So maybe you can take a shot at the end zone if you want to on 2nd down, knowing you have Jones Jr. with 2 runs in his pocket to try to pick it up. But again, you can't make a mistake here. You can't get pushed back. They've gotten down to this part of the field before on this side of the field early in the game, and they gave up a holding penalty. So you just have to watch out for the mistakes here from the Jersey Sharks. That's something they've done on this field before.
I think what we've seen now in the last 2 games we've covered here on PDF, one of those, of course, just 2 weeks ago, the other one all the way back in week 2. The red zone has not been kind to Jersey in the games we've covered. They've had some issues punching it in. We had a turnover a couple of weeks ago on the goal line covering that game against the Silverbacks. And you know the Silverbacks are watching this game very intently. Their only chance of winning the regular season in terms of top seed is if Jersey wins this game. They need the 3-way tie to have a chance. Brooklyn,
maybe they're playing right now. Who knows?
Brooklyn's unbeaten season very much on the line right here. And if you're the Sharks with Jones Jr. back there, you got to hand it off here, don't you?
I think that's definite. Give him the ball 3 to 5 times. Let him work.
I wouldn't say it's definite, but I think they'll at least try it once. And what do I know? They'll throw it. And I think that's enough for a first down.
Stumbled before getting into the end zone. However,
that is indeed a Jersey first down. So they go with some trickery on 2nd and 1. And I like the play design quite a bit. Do I like the situation? Wouldn't you have loved to have that one in your pocket on 1st and goal?
Even just earlier in the game, too, when you're closer to the red zone as well. 1st and goal, that would have been a touchdown for sure. Running some Kansas City Chiefs game-winning Super Bowl plays as well. Kind of similar to that McCole Hardman touchdown. But at this point in the game, especially when you may need it later, too. This is still a close game. Now you don't have that play in your pocket.
It is 1st and goal from the 2. Trips to the right, 1 receiver wide left, and they're looking that way. And it's intercepted! Picked off in the end zone! And now the Sharks have to make a tackle, and they will across the 30-yard line, but the football is out! Following the interception, Marcel Rudolph fumbled the football. And we await the ruling on this play.
Officials motioning that it's Shark football.
I haven't seen a signal yet.
I saw one.
But I don't know if they'll have to convene. It looks like they will convene, but I did see a signal by one of the officials that it was Shark football.
This is a huge call. And I think Jersey has been awarded the football. And John, I have to say it now, I'm shocked they passed it on 1st and goal.
You have one of the biggest running backs in the entire LAL, and you're at the 2-yard line. It is a play. It's getting too cute. It's getting too cute in the game of football. Sometimes you just have to take your big guy and stuff it in the end zone. It's more important than trying to make the right play call, make the analytical decision. You have Stephen Jones Jr., who has powered through and gotten you 2 extra yards on just about every run in this game. He needs to get the football.
You know, I always say it. I hate to be the Monday morning quarterback, and perhaps if you're the Sharks and you're calling plays there, you're thinking that the Pharaohs anticipate exactly what I'm anticipating up here. You know, perhaps they think Brooklyn's expecting us to run this. We fake the handoff and throw. We get the one-on-one we want on the outside, and now Jones Jr. is wrapped up after losing a pair.
The thing is, even if you do anticipate, if you're Brooklyn, the run, you still have to stop it. Even though you know it's coming, you still have to go out and make the stop. And now effectively that turns into what, a 36-yard loss effectively on that play? You get the first down, but that's a 36-yard loss on the interception because the player who intercepted it it could have been a legal forward pass. He tried to get that ball forward, and ended up fumbling the football, which it really was a forward lateral.
Yeah, you know, I have a tough time accepting a throw in that situation. But Jersey gets another chance. And they will throw it here. Chris Cuolo going deep. He has Fisher, and it's caught and dropped at the 2. Fisher took a big hit at the end of that play, and once again he is down. Collins among 2 Pharaohs in on the coverage, and once again Fisher is injured down on the field. For the second time tonight, he had a chance for a touchdown grab, and I think that was the best throw of this game by either quarterback right there.
I mean, it was right in the breadbasket, right?
As a reminder, you can still make your way over to hit that belly. Give it up for Fisher. This will bring up 3rd and 12 for the Sharks. Intercepted. Pass intended for Hemingway. First and 10 for the Pharaohs. Back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Flag on the play. Penalty against the Sharks. It was a 5-yarder. Repeat first down. Pass incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd down.
Low snap. Williams fakes the handoff and throws short for what could have been a massive completion. Instead, the pass was dropped by McDonald.
And he had some room. He had some yards to work with, too, if he made that completion, if he just got it in his hands. But just made the drop. That's big.
I think there's a chance he had a touchdown there, John. I think the only man he would have had to beat was Gallimore deep downfield.
Right.
He had every other Shark down around the line of scrimmage on his back. He was in stride, heading up the field when that ball was thrown.
Hemingway and Chris Crollo are still having this discussion about that last play. It's been a long time. I hope that this argument, what it looks like, would be resolved before the Sharks get possession back.
They may have it very shortly. It's 3rd and 5. Williams Steps up, looks to run, has some room, and he has the first down out across the 30. He needed 5. He got 7. First down, Brooklyn, and a big one for the Pharaohs.
Huge. When you have a player that can make a play of that magnitude at that moment, you could have given up great field position if you had to punt that football. But now you keep this drive alive, and you can continue to win the field position battle. You're up by a point. And now in the fourth quarter, it's got to be getting into about the middle back half of the fourth quarter at this point in this game.
I'd say we're approaching the midway point by my estimation. But
7 minutes or so, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'd say we're closer to 10 than we are to 5.
Yeah, definitely.
It's 1st and 10 Brooklyn, as there is some jawing going on. They're trying to tell the DJ to cut the music. He does, and Williams will look to throw. He's in trouble, and he is sacked. In on the sack was Dawson Aim. The Sharks linebacker getting home there, and it looked like he had a word for Williams after taking him down. Has to be careful there.
That could have led to a bit of a scrum, and they're still talking about this DJ.
Yeah, the DJ is playing music during and in between plays, and the official,
he's saying he can't stop the DJ. The DJ has just been continuing to play the music. But they're saying that's hurting their communication.
Well, if he's only doing it while Brooklyn has the ball,
right,
that is problematic.
Yeah.
Also, the speakers are at this end of the field.
Right. Hopefully he still gets paid, this DJ.
I don't think that'll be a problem.
He probably got it already.
2nd and 14. Low snap. And a handoff on this play goes nowhere, but the football is out. It's still loose. And the Pharaohs have it, but not before a big loss on the play, as Black was stripped on the way down. It was one Pharaoh against many more Sharks in a rush for that football along the near side, and diving on top of it may have been Mims. There were a lot of bodies in there.
You get a bad bounce on this football, and that could be a Jersey Shark touchdown. But great way to just recover it and keep this drive, at least just keep this football in your own possession. But this is a dangerous place to be fumbling the football.
If there's one thing that you can't afford as Brooklyn, it is giving away points while you are in possession of the football. Even if you fumble, do not let them take it in for a score. Your defense has been really good. Don't let them score on you without possessing the football. And as you said, John, that is exactly the reason why the Sharks are trailing in this game. They gave away points while in possession of the football. Pharaohs offense yet to score tonight. It is 3rd down, and it appears to be about 17. Williams in the shotgun, trips to his left. Williams is looking left. Steps forward, rolling right, a flag flies. Williams thought about reversing field, heaves it, and the pick is dropped by Gallimore. That flag was thrown in the area of holding. That being said, I think it helps the Sharks that he dropped that one, John, because he was headed straight out of bounds if he caught it.
Right. You probably get better field position on a punt.
Make them punt it.
Right. Make them, because they have not been able to punt the football very well all night. I think if you're Jersey, you may even decline that. You may even accept the penalty anyway.
Yeah, you know what? I think you might consider it.
I'm Coach Lumora. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking the penalty. It's a bit risky.
The only risk here is if you commit a defensive penalty.
Right.
You're going to make sure that nobody gets behind you defensively. I don't think you have to worry too much about the deep ball. But do you give away a down? Would I give away a down?
Your defense has been awesome. They have not allowed a point. They have put you in this position. I would let them make a play.
Is 10 yards of field position worth it?
At this point, when your offense hasn't been able to move down the field, that 10 yards has been the difference between scoring and not scoring.
I understand why they accepted it. I'm on the fence. I'm not often at a loss for words. I'm not sure what I would do, and they don't get as much time as I do to think about it.
Right. They have to make that decision in a split-second
It's a tough call.
moment.
I think it's a tough call. I don't
It is.
think it's clear-cut that you take the penalty.
It's not an easy call, no.
Anything can happen in terms of a defensive penalty. If it's a 5-yard penalty against your defense, you've now given Brooklyn a first down and allowed them to bleed some very valuable time off the clock. That being said, I think you have to trust your guys. I think I agree with the decision to accept the penalty. Trust your guys and put your offense in the best position possible when you get the football back.
These are the guys that have put you in this position. These are the guys that have kept you in this game. This Shark defense may just need one more stop to give their offense a chance to get in the lead.
It is 7-6. Pharaohs over the Sharks here in the fourth quarter. Brooklyn with a third down and about 25. Williams has to tuck it and run. He takes off, has some room, and will pick up a big chunk of it on that carry. John, that's something else that you have to consider. They might get more than they would have had prior to accepting the penalty. So accepting the penalty cost the Sharks about 10 yards maybe.
Right.
And Brooklyn could possibly consider going for this. I don't think they will. But it's 4th and about 7. It wouldn't be completely out of the realm of possibility. I think they punt it here. But if they got a little bit closer, I think they would have had a decision to make.
I think there's still a decision. At this point in the game, at this part of the field.
I don't think so.
I haven't seen Mims yet.
He's out there, but he's a receiver, so he would be out there regardless.
Anyway.
I don't think there's a decision here. I think you have to get closer than 5 yards to think about going for it. If it was 4 or less, I would certainly think about it. That being said, you punt here, even if you net 20 yards, you'd put them on their own side of midfield, and I think that's what you have to do.
Looks like that's the decision. Punt the football. The escapability of Williams turned that into great field position for the Sharks. Gave plenty of room for this punt. Even if it isn't the best punt in the world, you just want to get it past that 50-yard line at this point in the game.
There's only one thing you have to do here if you're Brooklyn. Get the kick away. It's a very low snap and a poor punt. It was blocked. It is scooped up, and the Sharks have it inside the 15-yard line. And, John, that all started with a low snap. Mims never had a chance.
Never had a chance at that one. Wow. The Sharks finally get the block that they have been so close to getting time and time again. And what a play and what a block. And now the Sharks have it inside the red zone to start it off.
And, John, taking a look at that replay, I'm not sure anybody was ready for that snap on the Brooklyn side.
It came as a bit of a surprise that it got snapped in the first place. It didn't feel like everybody was ready on that play. Nobody was ready.
Well, Mims looked ready.
Right, he was ready to get the ball.
It was low. He was ready. What a mistake by Brooklyn.
Wow.
There was only one thing they had to do there, and that's get a punt away. Because if you kick it away the way Mims has been kicking, you put Jersey in their own territory. However, it looks like a flag is down at midfield. Is that a flag at the official's foot or not?
I'm trying to see it.
They haven't spotted the ball yet.
Not yet, no. And everyone's around the
Look at that, the E of Edison. Is that a flag?
I see something yellow.
Yeah.
Or I do see that's a flag. There's the turnover flag. He must have thrown both. I see the turnover flag, and I see the yellow flag at the E.
There's a penalty against the Sharks here.
Will this even count?
It looks like Brooklyn's offense is coming back out. Also,
wow.
Keep in mind, Jersey used the timeout during that possession.
The chain's moving.
Any penalty that is
Would
for
be a
5
first down.
yards would bring them 2 yards short, and it looks like that's the penalty.
Right. Wow, it must have been an offside.
I think you go for it now, John.
You have to.
4th and 2. I don't think there's any question you're going for this.
Again, we're not sure exact time is being kept on the field, so we're not sure exactly how much time is left on the clock. But it's getting late in this game, and you can make a decision. You go for it. You get it. You can still take a lot of time off the clock.
That's a really tough penalty against Jersey, and I didn't see the flag at any point during the play. Perhaps because I followed the ball, which was blocked. It was never kicked. And the flag was thrown well behind the play in front of the return man.
It appears as if there was a penalty, though for once I did not see a flag.
It had to be offsides.
Had to be.
Had to be, because it's a 5-yard penalty. Nothing else would afford them 5.
Right.
Appears to have gone against the Sharks during that kick.
Right. So that was the yellow flag there, because there's the turnover flag in the middle. They're kicking it. And that yellow speck, whatever that was, now we know it's a flag because I don't see it now on the E. So there was a flag on the play, and they must have been offside.
I think I would go for it. I'm not sure the Pharaohs will go for it here.
It's a big decision.
They still haven't sent out their offense or their kicking unit. Sharks are ready to go. I'm not sure how much time Brooklyn can take here.
If I'm the Pharaohs, go win the game. Get the 4th down conversion, and you can run so much time off this clock. We're definitely past the 5-minute mark at this point.
Yeah, I really hate not knowing how much time is left because that plays a major role in this decision-making process here. I think we're certainly inside of 5 minutes to play in this game.
Right.
And a 1st down puts you in a position to run the rest of this game out. The Sharks have already used the timeout. We have them with 2 remaining.
Yeah.
I do believe that's correct. And let's see here.
Yeah. Their offense is on the field, and they will go for this.
Reem Williams is not on the field, and Gerald Wilson, who we have seen play quarterback before, is in there to take a direct snap. A flag flies, and I'm not sure if he got it. Now, we talked about it very briefly during the pregame. The penalty is against the Pharaohs. It is holding, and Brooklyn will have to punt again. But very quickly on Gerald Wilson, he is a very well-known quarterback in the semi-professional game. Going back to that 2022 EFA championship that Brooklyn played in, he was on the other side playing for the Harlem Gators.
Wow.
He came in to quarterback that game in the second half and nearly led a comeback for the Gators in that game. It was a blast to watch, a really fun game to call, but Wilson was a huge part of that. And here he came in to take a direct snap. I'm not sure he got it anyway. I'm assuming they gave it to him because now Brooklyn is punting.
Right, I don't think he got it, because if he didn't get it, you just declined the penalty.
You would decline the penalty.
Right, so
correct.
he must have got it.
It was very close.
It was close. I think he got about
I didn't think he got it.
A couple feet. The
Yeah.
difference was a half a yard, maybe.
And it's blocked again. The ball's still loose, and it doesn't really matter who gets on it unless the Sharks scoop it and score. Jersey will take over again from down around the 10-yard line, and we have a Pharaoh down. I believe that's Mims. His protection has done him no favors on these punts, and we'll get a second look here.
These plays are very dangerous, too. This came right in and blocked it, back-to-back blocks, but those plays are dangerous for your punter, especially if you have people rushing at you. They are trying to get that football with their life on the line. It is a dangerous, dangerous play, a pump block.
Yeah, that was a good snap. Maybe a bit low, but he was able to receive it on a fly, and he got taken out as soon as he tried to kick it. That's obviously a dangerous play. The kicker's leg coming forward into a defender who's diving, sometimes helmet first. And that opens the door for a variety of lower body injuries.
Yep.
And if you're in kick coverage there, coming in to block that, you have to make sure you contact the football. Otherwise, the flag is on you. And just like that, it is a Brooklyn first down. So Mims, who's obviously a huge part of this Pharaohs team. We've been covering him now for 3 seasons here on PDF, and he can make plays in more ways than one, be it at wide receiver or on special teams. He's down here and is being helped off the field. Hopefully he is okay, and it doesn't look good. He is being carried off the field, putting no weight on his leg. So you have to assume that it is not a positive outcome here for Mims, considering that he's being carried off.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, these guys fight so hard to play in these games, get to these moments, and you're really just doing it for the love of the game. And you don't want to see injuries at any level of football, but for these guys, it's tough.
Well, if you're Jersey here, you can't ask for a much better opportunity. This drive will begin from inside the 10-yard line. It will be 1st and goal from the 8 when the Sharks take over. And if Jersey does not score here and goes on to lose this game, they would look back on all of their chances in the red zone and really be regretting opportunities missed throughout the night, because they have had far more chances than Brooklyn has. In fact, I don't think Brooklyn's possessed the ball inside the 20. They were close, but I don't think they ever got inside the red zone.
The only time they got inside the red zone was when their defense had the football inside the red zone and scored a touchdown. They have not really gotten past really the 30-yard line in this game.
These two defenses have been phenomenal tonight. Just one offensive score between the two sides. Jersey hoping to make it 2 and to take a lead late in the 4th. Handoff on the jet sweep. And Saru is stood up inside the 5. And it will be 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line.
So now is a chance to amend for your potential mistake. Interesting jet sweep gets him a few yards.
See, I think going back to the series of plays called beginning with 2nd and 1 from the 3 earlier.
Right.
They chose to go with the fake jet sweep and pass it to the flat there. They got the first down, didn't score. They then elected to pass it on 1st and goal from the 2. Those are 2 plays that in a situation like this, you would really love to have those in your back pocket. And maybe you still do. But to double up on a play call like that could be a bit risky in a spot like this against a great defense.
You've also got, again, the big fella, Stephen Jones Jr.
And they will throw left again, and it's dropped. And, John, they went right back to the same play call again. Smalley was one-on-one, and I think that pass hit him right in the chest.
Hit him right in the chest. I mean, it's a touchdown. This should be a touchdown. It's probably a great play by the defensive back to get in, maybe get a hand in there, an arm in there, but that hits the chest. If you've got a chance, it's one you want your receiver to come down with.
That's a really tough one for the Sharks. That's a gutsy play call, but when you trust your guys out there, it's the right play call because you get a one-on-one look on the outside. You may come back and say later, should have run it on a play that was intercepted, but the look was there. The look was there. You got the one-on-one opportunity you wanted.
Is the fumble a factor earlier in the game for Stephen Jones Jr., why he isn't getting the ball?
I don't think so. I think it's respect for this Brooklyn run defense. And now on 3rd and goal from the 4, I think it's much more likely we see a pass once again here. Chris Cuolo wanted to throw it. Now rolls right, running out of time. And that is incomplete along the goal line.
Pass. Incomplete. That'll bring up 4th and goal.
4th and goal. And this very well could be the ball game, John. It is 4th and goal. And once again, the Sharks are just struggling to find the end zone from in close.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked to see that they're not running this football. I know, again, you talk about Monday morning quarterbacking and everything, but I said this on Saturday. So it is just
good point.
Tough. It's tough. You've seen it not work. Right, the second time you get to this part of the field, you've seen it not work. You've seen it lead to interceptions. Your receivers make plays here and there, but there have been more miscues than positive plays at this point of this game. And you have a running back who can churn for yards. You've got offensive line who's been getting pushes. And obviously the Brooklyn run defense has been stout. But you've tried to throw it in the end zone at this part of the field, and it hasn't worked. And yes, a hit
Smalley in the hands, hit him in the chest, but it looked like a great play by the defensive back to get an arm in there. So at least you get 3 chances, and to see 3 of them be passes, it's surprising.
Yeah. I said it earlier, too. Credit to the play calling on the particular play on 2nd and 1. Even though I'm not sure I would have passed it at that point, I really like that play design. And I think in this down and distance, goal to go inside the 5, that would have been a really nice play to go to in this spot where you're not necessarily right on the doorstep. And maybe the mindset was it's 2nd and 1. If we end up having to throw it away or we throw an incomplete pass, we live to fight another down.
Right.
But, they could go to it again. I don't think they will in this spot because that play did involve a fake handoff. I don't think we're going to see anything of the sort here. Though it looks like they have it spotted at about the 2 or 3 yard line, in between the 2 and the 3. So you could go with some play action here. I wouldn't, and I'm not sure the defense would respect it much. But I don't think it's completely out of the question. The number one thing I think, if you're Jersey, you have to get a throw off to the end zone here. You can't take a sack, or obviously you can't throw the ball away. You have to make sure you give one of your playmakers a chance.
Right.
Also,
game.
Is the kick on the table? Would you kick it?
Not seeing it right now, but a safety is on the table if you can't get it on down.
Well, they've changed quarterbacks, and will look to run it in. Quarterback power. It's short. Just short of the end zone. Rashawn Roach Jr. came in, and they looked to power it in with the backup quarterback. They hurried to the line as well and did not get it.
If your decision is to run the football, you have to get it to your best runner.
John, I think that's a play you go with ahead of 4th down. You see Roach in there, and he's probably going to keep the football and run.
It's more predictable than the play I've been asking for the past 7 times they've been at this point.
Yeah. The more I've seen them stay away from the handoff in these goal-to-go situations, the more I'm starting to think maybe the fumble is playing a factor.
It could be.
In the play calling. However, he got as close as you could get without getting in.
Right.
It is a 1-point game.
Right. It's on the table.
A safety could win you the game here.
Yep.
You have, I believe, 1 timeout left if you're Jersey. They call timeout on offense, so I think they have 1 timeout left. We have them on the screen with 2. I think it's 1.
So if you're Brooklyn, this is not by any means. I mean, they celebrated and they got the stop, but this is by no means a good situation to be in.
No. And they did not give the Sharks a great spot. I thought they got right to the goal line, inches away from pay dirt. It looks like they have them spotted outside of the 1. So they didn't get as close as I initially thought, and that's big. Every inch matters in this position. And if you're Brooklyn, do you put in Wilson and just have him push forward up the middle?
Don't have a lot of options at the 1 yard line. I also, one thing I noticed, I did see, not to hamp on the point too much, but it's an important part of the story. Stephen Jones Jr., immediately after that play's ending, he is yelling, he's talking, and he's just talking to the sideline. I think he's talking about him not getting the ball. Or I think it has to be something, because he's by himself, and they're tapping him. And they're coming to him and encouraging him right now. I think he thought he should have got the ball.
I think when you're a big part of an offense and a playmaker that traditionally is relied upon in down-to-down situations, getting the football often, to not get it once in 2 goal-to-go situations, obviously could rub you the wrong way. I can't say I blame him.
Right.
That being said, in the last 2 Sharks games we've covered, he has put the football on the ground.
Yes.
I don't think you can let that affect your play calling and goal to go. If you are confident enough to put him in the game, you have to be confident enough to give him the football.
Exactly.
And you do have a capable backup as well. Rob Jackson has done some good things in the last 2 games we've covered. They've been willing to give him carries. Why not give him a shot if not Jones Jr.? So we will see if the Sharks defense once again can come up huge. A safety here puts Jersey ahead. It is still a 1-point game. 7-6, closing minutes of the 4th. There has been no signal yet for the 2-minute warning. That's something to keep in mind. So effectively, Jersey should have 2 timeouts. I do believe officially they have 1 remaining. The Pharaohs are now out of timeouts, and Williams is forced to throw from the end zone. There was a receiver in the area. That cannot be a safety. The Sharks want one. They will not get it.
Are they thinking he might have been down before he got the throw off? I don't think so.
We'll take a look on replay. Let's slow it way down, Tyler, and see if there's any chance he was down. Probably go to half speed, maybe even less on that one.
That's the only thing I can think of because intentional grounding was not even close.
Well,
or maybe.
Intentional grounding can occur from the pocket if the ball doesn't reach the line of scrimmage.
Right.
That being said, if the defender alters the throw, causing it not to reach the line, then it is defense altering the pass. I think that's a good no call on the intentional grounding.
Helmet throw. That's a 15-yard penalty. He threw his helmet all the way to the sideline on the field. That's a 15-yard penalty.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my goodness.
Kareem Stewart, in frustration, threw his helmet. Was that number 3, Stewart?
Yes, he threw his helmet. He took his helmet off and threw it to the sideline.
And if that affords the Pharaohs 15 yards, that is it's an awful penalty regardless of the outcome. But you simply can't do that there.
That'll be against the Sharks.
Unless if they do half the distance of the goal.
15-yard penalty.
Well, it should be a 15-yard penalty.
It is.
Yeah.
Get the Pharaohs out of the own league.
So the Pharaohs were snapping the ball from, at best, just outside the 1-yard line, and now
there's the ball.
The ball has been spotted at the 21. I'm not sure how they got the 21.
Was there another penalty? That would be another penalty. I mean,
so maybe they called a pre-snap penalty that we missed, and then the helmet was thrown following what was a pre-snap penalty against the Jersey defense.
And if they were at the 2-yard line,
either way, you can't do that.
Right, you can't do any of that. The Sharks were in prime position. Even if that play wasn't called in their favor, maybe we're missing something on that last play. But you still have to give your defense another chance to get a safety. You had 2 more chances to get a safety, and even then they have to punt it, and now the game's over.
Well, Brooklyn will kneel. And is that the final play of the game?
I haven't heard the 2-minute warning, right?
Well, there was never a signal for the 2-minute warning. We have Jersey with 1 timeout left. I believe they called it.
They did.
The Pharaohs were ready to shake hands. And I'm not sure when we reached the 2-minute warning, John, but it must have occurred at some point during that Sharks goal-to-go sequence.
Wow.
However, they didn't have a complete pass. They did have a first down that set them up on the goal line. Oh, no, they inherited the ball with a first down and goal to go. So the 2-minute warning had to have been a while back.
Right.
And maybe when I believed that Jersey had called timeout, that was the 2-minute warning, because I did believe Jersey used the timeout earlier in the quarter. So
that must have been the 2-minute warning, and there can't be that much time left.
The game is over.
The game is done.
The game is over.
A game-losing penalty.
Yeah, they were at the 1. It's really tough to kneel it from in that close. You probably can't. But the Brooklyn Pharaohs have completed a perfect regular season in League of All Leagues competition. They finish 8-0 behind a 7-6 victory over the Jersey Sharks. And, John, the story of this game, on the side of the Pharaohs anyway, a standout performance from their defense. They scored the game's lone touchdown for Brooklyn, and they pitched a shutout for the entire first half, allowed just the 1 score in the second half, and when it mattered most, back against the wall, fourth quarter, they came up with the big stop.
A big goal line stand at the end of this game. This Pharaoh defense is playoff ready. An undefeated season, what an accomplishment, but the mentality, the job is not done. You have to continue to go undefeated and win this thing, but what a stand by this defense. The offense did not score a point today. That's going to be a point of concern heading into their playoff run as they try to defend their undefeated crown. These two teams may see each other again at the end of the day. But for Jersey, mistakes, miscues, penalties at the end of the game, it's
It was an ugly game for Jersey at the end of the day. But definitely one that they're going to look back. There's a lot to look back on when it comes to this Jersey Shark side of things.
It may have been an ugly game. There were a lot of good things, especially from this defense in this game.
Right.
They did pitch a shutout, not to be lost in this. Though the Pharaohs defense made the one big play that resulted in points, the Jersey defense and special teams unit made several big plays in this one. Unfortunately, the offense, when given opportunities down around the goal line, did not convert at a high enough rate. I don't have it tallied down, but I think in the red zone, the Sharks were probably 1 for 4 in the game.
Sounds right.
If I'm not mistaken. They
Sounds
might
right.
have been just outside of the red zone before halftime.
Right.
So officially, I think it would be 1 for 3, but they got very close at the end of the first half. Time ran out on them, so I don't think you can really hold that against them. Either way, both teams have a lot of things to figure out on the offensive side of the ball heading into the playoffs, and I'm not sure what the Silverbacks have done tonight. If they win, the Sharks are not going to play a playoff home game, barring an upset of the Pharaohs in the opening round by either the New York Bears or the Central Jersey Vikings.
And you have to look at how many points the Silverbacks scored. This is a low-scoring game. It's for points for. If the Silverbacks went out and scored a bunch of points,
well, it would only be a tiebreaker at
Jersey
6
won,
and
right,
2.
if Jersey won.
Well, no,
So
it would only be a tiebreaker at 6 and 2 if the Silverbacks also lost, and if it was a one-way tiebreaker between New Jersey and Jersey, the Silverbacks win that tiebreaker because of head-to-head
now
record.
the top 3 is set.
The top 3 is set. We know that it is Brooklyn 1, New Jersey 2, and Jersey 3. We don't know what the Bears have done. We don't know what the Vikings have done. That information, I'm sure, will be available later tonight. So until a potential playoff game for this Jersey Sharks squad, PDF Sports Network signs off for the final time during the regular season. My name is Joe Foreman, my broadcast partner tonight, John McCooch, our engineer, Tyler Clark, and our camera operator, Pat Gilorenzo. If you are watching our live broadcast, check back in about an hour or two for a completely clean, lag-free version of tonight's game. That will be available on our YouTube channel at PDF Sportsnet. We thank everyone who stuck with us from start to finish. We apologize for the internet service here on the campus of Edison High School, but unfortunately, there was nothing that could be done about that here tonight. We hope to make some changes if we do come back here, though that will probably not be this season, as the Sharks are the 3 seed in the LAL playoffs. They will head on the road for an opening round playoff matchup. And, John, that will be against the Silverbacks. So we may be headed back to Rahway, where the internet was crisp and our video stream was nice and clear. If that is the case, we will see you in Rahway next time. Once again, our final score tonight here in Edison, the Pharaohs 7 and the Sharks 6.